Hello. So I wanted to talk about what to expect when you do an intuitive or inner voice coaching session with me. And hi, I'm Shannon. And I'm recording this from my guest bedroom, which is also my office. And I'm looking at my image of my picture here. I got a little Mary statue. I have another little, that's Kuan Yin back there. She's another mother figure in not Christianity, but in Eastern religions. Anyway, those are little bits of my altar. I've got some tissues back here. Reason I'm showing you these things is because these are the things that I like to surround myself with. Here's a little salt lamp during sessions because they just make me feel good and they make me feel supported. And things that you might enjoy gathering for yourself if you would like to have something like that. If you don't have a space, then doing it in a quiet room in your house, if you can find one, is perfect. So I like the tissues because often in a session you will be moving energy, and one of the ways that your body moves energy is crying. You might also want to move, so you do not need to sit still for an entire session. Laying down, you might be prompted to lay down by your body, by what feels good for you in whatever moment it is. But you do not need to have a couch or a bed or anything like that. I would say a comfortable chair would be good. And I would suggest calling in from your phone if you have a tripod or if you have a place that you can put the phone while we're doing the call, because it would be nice if your hands are free. You may want to turn your video off. You're more than welcome to turn your video off if that feels safer for you. I will be recording the session, so you do not need to bring any paper or pencil to the session because I will be taking notes. I keep a little client journal where I just jot down notes throughout the session so that you don't have to take any notes. You don't have to remember anything. It will be recorded, and I record audio only. So depending on how it feels for you, you don't have to decide ahead of time. If you like I have some clients who like the accountability of me seeing them and them, being in one place. So that's another thing that I would suggest. This is not like listening to a podcast where you can kind of multitask and do multiple things and drive and do the dishes or whatever while you're doing a session. When we do a session, you're going to go deep into your inner voice. So that's going to require you to be able to focus in and listen to my voice. And that's pretty much the only thing that you're going to be wanting to be paying attention to. So minimize distractions around you. Okay, so I would say bring some water. Water would be helpful, and it doesn't matter what you look like. There's no right or wrong way to show up for it. One of the things that I like to tell clients is your inner being is going to guide the session. So my job is that I just get to hold space for you to be able to tune in to your inner voice. So it's almost like imagining that you're a radio station and you're like driving along in the car and your mind is usually in control of the dial. And it's just chatter, 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 commercial, 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 commercial. And you are trying to search for the station. You're looking for a clear station. Maybe you're driving in new territory, right? And it's just kind of staticky and you're looking for a new station. My job is to help you get to that correct frequency. So we'll just use basic tools, breathing. There's some movement that I use sometimes. If you're coming in hot and you're feeling a lot of things. We don't spend a lot of time talking. So unlike traditional talk therapy, there really is no need for me to really dive into whatever the story is, because your inner being already knows. Your inner being is with you all the time since the moment you were born, possibly however many lifetimes as well, if you believe in that. So it's my full belief, and I trust it with 100% of my being at this point, that your inner being knows exactly what you need and is calling you to this session because it wants you to hear what it's ready to tell you, and it wants you to, and it knows that you're at a point where you're ready to hear it. And not to say that you're going to hear anything that isn't loving and in your highest good. So I think a lot of times, many of us who are new to this whole like sitting with ourselves and tuning into this voice, there's a little bit of a fear that we're going to hear something that, like, some truth that we may already know and we don't want to hear it because it feels hard or it feels like, yeah, I know. I need to leave my job or whatever it is. But that feels really scary. So what my job to do is to be your mind in all of those scenarios. So you just get to sit and be tuned to the station, and I get to be your mind. I get to be the one that asks all the questions that you would ask. So, you might be sitting around and you're like, oh, I really feel like this doesn't feel right. This isn't a good fit for me. I should leave my job. But you don't want to go any further than that because it's scary as hell to your mind to even consider all of the things that you would have to consider when it comes to potentially leaving your job. So you just don't even ask. You don't even go there, right? You don't even allow yourself to contemplate it. So the beauty of doing this with the inner voice and trusting that the inner being has your highest good in mind is that I get to ask the questions, and question after question after question. So I get to ask, okay, you want her to leave her job. When? Tomorrow? And you get to just listen and hear what your inner voice will tell you. It's never going to tell you anything that isn't in your highest good. And if something feels scary, beautiful. Like, we'll let that come up. We'll let that energy move through you. Maybe there's a belief that you have that is just a really old belief, or maybe you have something really tied, like your sense of identity is really tied to that job. And so, your ego or your identity is not ready to leave. Like, it's like, well, who am I without that job? So lots of different things can come up, and that's when we'll start to really use your inner being to guide us to where it's safe to go, bring up what's ready to be released, offer suggestions, offer help. All of that is going to come from your own inner being. The reason why I love this work is that I am not helping you with your problem. Not at all. Your inner being is helping you with whatever is going on in your life. Your inner being loves you so deeply, and I just get to sit here in this beautiful frequency that I get to hold for you as you tune in, and I get to be the lawyer asking all the questions of the inner being. So it's really lovely, and it's really, really powerful when we can when you get to sit in that space for such an extended period of time. I often work with people that are perfectionists and might be really anxious about coming into a session, and like performance anxiety. Am I going to hear anything? Is it going to be just quiet? Am I even capable of doing this? And I would just say, in this moment, taking a breath and just tuning in for just one moment and just listening to hear what you hear when I say, is it time for me to do a session with Shannon? You're going to breathe out. So if you feel like your mind is coming in with an answer or something, you know where the thoughts are coming from. You know what it feels like to be thinking or trying to look for an answer. You don't need to try and look for any answer. I just want you to feel something from within. There is no right or wrong answer. So you just get to feel into it and just see, do you want me, inner voice, do you want me to book a session with Shannon? Is this the right time for me? And just feel into that. And if you hear a yes, great, there's your answer. If you hear a no, you can follow up. Is there someone else you want me to get help from? Can you show me who that might be? Is today not the best day? Will you show me when the right day would be? And you can just put your faith in that, and just that little bit that like you have this voice inside of you. You can access it, and you can trust that it will only guide you to what is safe and best for you in each moment. Okay, if you have any other questions, feel free to email me at shannonmfunt@gmail.com. And I think that is it. If you have headphones, great. If you don't have headphones, you can just talk right into your phone or your computer. Yeah, and be comfortable. Bring your water. Bring some tissues if you're a crier, especially. And just, I would say, don't even have to bring any expectation. If you want to write down ahead of time an intention for the session, so what do you hope to get out of it? Maybe there are some questions that you have, or maybe there's just some really heavy emotions or heavy energy that you've been carrying with you. And you can write that all down ahead of time if it feels good for you. And like I said, if you're coming in hot and you really need to talk a little bit, we'll read into each session exactly what's needed in each session at the beginning to help you get into a space where you feel heard, and where you feel safe, and where you feel ready to surrender into the space of your inner voice. But often, we'll just go right in. We won't even give your mind time to talk, because I don't need to know any of the details. I don't need to know any people's names even. Your inner being will know exactly what you need to know. And it's lovely for me. I'm very sensitive. I'm a highly sensitive person. And when I found this particular work, it was just really lovely, because I don't get emotionally involved with your story. I just get to sit here and be the frequency that allows you to hear your own advice. So I'm happy to listen. But also it's not a requirement to do any talking at all. I mean, we live in our minds 100% of the day, usually. And so this space is 100% time for you to spend as much time not listening to this. So I like to get right in and jump right in, and not even give the microphone to the mind at all. It's like that ultimate trust fall right at the beginning of the session, to be like, can I really do this? Can I really just go into this and breathe out all of those thoughts and all of those things that might be holding on and resisting. But if you feel called to do the session, just trust that your inner being has guided you here, and that it will be such a beautiful, safe, and sacred space. It's going to be magical and powerful. And my hope for everyone that comes into a session, if it's your first one, or if it's we do many sessions together, is that each time you feel lighter and you feel more connected. You might come in feeling really heavy, and just the beauty of sitting in this frequency alone, just breathing together alone, can be so powerful. And then you get the added bonus of getting questions answered, and getting advice from your own inner voice. And so it's so much more resonant when you hear it from your own inner voice. It's just so powerful, and I'm just so excited to be able to hold this space for you. And I am excited to meet you and to meet your inner voice. And thank you very much. And namaste. Take care.